Welcome to Steps Forward with Ricki, a weekly walking podcast designed to help you take steps forward in your life and your day. Let's talk about functional burnout. Hold on. Before we get into functional burnout, welcome to the podcast. I'm Ricki, your host. This is a walking podcast. I feel like I have forgotten that intro the last 5 episodes. Steps forward, putting one foot in front of the other, moving your body, taking a walking break. This is what it's here for. So if you're sitting, get up, put your shoes on, bundle up, I don't know, wherever you are, and get moving. Okay, let's talk about functional burnout. And let's talk about how I literally didn't even know what it was until 20 minutes ago when I learned about functional burnout and was like, oh my God, that's me. When I think about functional burnout, I don't know if you've heard of that before. It's just like burnout, but you're functional. I mean, it's like being a high functioning high. You're operating, you're surviving, you're going, you're moving, but you're really depleted and you're really burnt out. I don't know if you can relate to that. Like if you think about something in your life right now, whether it's work or a relationship or starting a business or maybe it's smoking, whatever it is, it's like you're functioning, like you're okay. But at some point, your body's going to give out or your brain's going to be like, I'm done. Oh, you'll wake up one day and you'll be like, that person's not it, I'm out. Right? It's like you go, and then you reach a breaking point. And there are always signs of burnout or of surviving your life, right? And this is actually the first time that I've been able to recognize that this is what it's been for me the last 6 weeks, probably more. I've been going in and out of it, honestly. And I think I've dealt with this my whole life. You know, burnout or functional burnout or whatever it is that you're experiencing in the high functioning category is really a trauma response. You know, it's like fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, fear of not doing enough, fear of being with yourself without moving and all of the things. And it's true. And it's not always on purpose either. You know, for me, it was like I started walking away from weed and my podcast, and everything has just been moving so fast. And I love moving, you know that, right? Like I'm a mover, I'm a builder, that's how I'm designed. 4-6 generator, for those that know what human design is. And I love working. Like I love to work. I always have, I always will. Working is such a big part of my personality, of my confidence. And that's probably why when I feel out of alignment or I feel confused, it weighs on me so heavily because it's such a big part of who I am. Not everyone's like that, and that's okay. But, you know, I find myself in these cycles of doing the thing and moving and all of it, right? And then I burn out. I have like resistance. I have like this feeling in me that's like, I don't want to show up today. And then, you know, some of it's not just burnout. Some of it's like I've grown and expanded and it's hard to go back to that topic or that thing or operating in that way. And this is the other thing that I've really come to realize is that we grow, right? Like obviously I didn't just realize that. I've always known that. But what I'm saying is like, especially if you're a business owner or in a relationship or whatever, like what worked for you at the beginning and what was great and exciting might not be the same, right? In the middle of the project or at the end or after the honeymoon of the relationship. I just like hit my nose and it really hurts. And so, you know, at the beginning of my program, walking away from weed and TikTok and stuff, like I was posting 3 to 4 times a day. Like I was a machine and I loved it and it was exciting for me. And I was super energized by it because it was just fun, you know, and I enjoyed it. And I was also in it. Like I was only 100 days into my journey. And so, you know, I was moving through it as well in certain ways and it was fun to get a response. And I'm the kind of person that I respond well to people. So I usually create things because there's like a need, right? And that's something that I've learned, you know, just through my design of like, I'm not really the kind of person who is like initiator, which is interesting because I always thought that I was. I don't know what you know about human design, but you should go look up your your design. Go to humandesign.com and you'll see all the things you have to do. And it really gives you a good idea of like who you are and your strategy in life. And you can also take that information and apply it to your relationships and business and all that stuff. And I'm not an initiator, which means I'm not like the kind of person who just creates an idea out of thin air if there isn't like a need for it. I'm like always responding to things, whether that's a response to myself, a response to a song I hear, a response to a question or a message or something that someone asks me, or I just like am responding to a need that I have. I can create something. So it's not like in my natural state to like be marketing and selling all the time, because I'm usually sort of the one that takes a step back and like builds it and creates it and just embodies it. And then people usually reach out to me. That's a side note. But what I've come to realize is that I was operating in the wrong way. I've been operating in the wrong way for a very long time, especially in business. I have been a machine going. And listen, you got to do your fucking work if you're going to start a business. So there is no like, well, I'm going to sit back and do nothing. Like, no, you're going to have to work. But when it stops being fun and it starts feeling heavy, or you start to feel like, fuck, I can't sustain this, then it's like you got to take a step back. And I started to feel that way, like, honestly, a few months ago of just like, I don't want to post all this stuff on TikTok about weed right now. I love my program. I want to build it. I want to help as many people as I can. I want to, put things into place and all of that. But I also like want to expand, and I'm growing too. Like you grow from the original story, right? And so I've had glimpses and moments of like, I'm kind of burnt out. And I just ignored it, because when you're on a high, you're on a high, right? I mean, when you're functioning, you're functioning. So it's like, you don't question it, but it shows up. Every time I was like, okay, I need to put systems in place. I need to slow down. I need to, do all these different things. I would all of a sudden get like a TikTok video would go viral, or something would happen where it's like I responded to it. And instead of taking the time and being like, wait, let's put some systems in place. Let's slow the fuck down. Let's, make sure you're taking care of yourself. It was like, go. And man, it caught up to me. And I've done this a million times. Usually it's a lot more destructive, because I'll be like, I'm done with that thing. I'm out. This time I'm able to take a step back and be like, okay, what's working? What's not working? Usually when I feel burnt out like this, it's not because I don't want to help people in certain ways. It's because I don't feel like there's like equal energetic exchange. Here's what I mean by that. I create a lot of things. I run my program. I have a few different offers people can plug into, and I am always creating content, my podcast. Like I do a lot. And there's a lot more that I'm going to be adding into my business and into my ecosystem. And I love being able to be a resource for people, but sometimes I feel like I'm giving, and I'm not getting as much in return. And I know that sounds kind of fucked up, but it's true. I've learned something about myself that's pretty magical and great. And I think it's important to talk about this stuff, because you should own your gifts. We should own our gifts, and we should recognize them, because when we learn about who we are and we understand who we are and we understand our design and things like that, then we can start to build strategies that work for us in our life and our businesses and our relationships. I don't need a long time to change people's lives. I'm not the kind of person who is going to have like an 8-week program or needs 7 hours to help you. I am a very direct, straightforward, articulate, simple person in terms of the way that I deliver information. I'm able to take a lot of complicated information and distill it into something that's digestible and transformational. I don't need a lot of time to change people's lives or to have an effect on people. I mean, look at my program. I created the Walking Away from Weed program, and it's literally a 3-day program, and my success rate is extremely high in terms of transformation and sobriety. I've had over 200 people in my program. It's been 8 months since I started that. So I do a lot of things in my business that play into my gift, right? My podcast, I'm recording episodes. They're not very long, but I've recorded a bunch of them, and people are loving them, and they're changing their life on them, and I love that. People are walking away from weed and changing their life on my 20-second videos, on my this or on my that, right? Like these are not long things, but they're still the things that they're still a part of who I am. And they're still the things that I believe that they're so valuable. Just because they're not 8 weeks, so they're not this or they're not that, doesn't make them any less valuable. And I think what I've come to realize is that what might not be so valuable for somebody else, right? Somebody else could talk for 20 minutes and it might only be scratching the surface, right? So then they have a longer episode, or they have a longer, program, or they have a longer thing. I'm not like that. Of course I can talk longer. We all know I like to talk. And my programs and things like that, like I'm giving a bunch of value out. It's not just a 20-minute program, but I'm very straight to the point. And so I was thinking about it the other day, like, all these things that I want to create, it's like it's almost like I threw myself into what I've already been doing, because I've sort of felt like, well, somebody will want to do that. Like if it's only a 20-minute audio, or if it's only this, or if it's only a 3-day thing on this topic. And, even the walking away from weed program, like I don't want to make it longer. It doesn't need to be longer. And I think there's been some shame around that. And so I've just been moving, because stopping and reevaluating and being like, does that work for me? Or like, let me add something else in, or making sure that I have these things into place. It almost feels like I have to unlock that next level version of me. And there's obviously a part of me that was like very scared of that. I'm not scared of it anymore, because I've reached a point where I'm like, no, you can't build a business or a life using someone else's gifts or strategies. You have to use your own. And I think about that in my podcast. And there is a really big part of me that is going to make some changes here. Not because I don't love offering free value. Like, come on, I do, but there's so much here. And, I think I'm going to create some stuff like a subscription to my podcast, and think that, I want to reach my podcast listeners. And I believe that there's enough value in there where it's like, you want to feel like you're giving and receiving. And I do a lot of the time, but I think that when I get to this point, I feel like I've just given. And I'm really grateful that I'm have the ability to give, right? Like that's beautiful. But I'm also a human being, and we need to do both. We receive, we give, and that's okay. And, I think about like my content and stuff, and it's not like I have like these big grand ideas of like what I want to talk about and stuff. It's just that I don't know that I've ever like really created a vision for myself, right? Because like I see myself as somebody who creates like micro experiences and courses and live experiences, but they're not like 10 weeks long and different topics. And I also see myself like building this walking away from weed program and like literally putting it out to the masses, because I think it will change the world. I think it will change the world of addiction. And people can see things in a different way, and the resources out there are not so great. And I've had so much proof of my concept. But the program, it's not because I built a great program. I did build a great program, but it's because of the way that I delivered the information. Same with this podcast. Someone could say it's only 20-minute episodes, and it's like, yeah, but does it really matter how long something is if it changes your life? So I have not been posting as much on TikTok, if you haven't noticed. And I have been a little bit like, what's next? I did not run a live group this month because, there's a big part of me that's like, I've run it 9 times and I love it. But do I need to run it for it to be something that changes people's lives? And what I've learned is that I actually don't. Doesn't mean I'm not going to, but I don't really need to right now, because I have gotten so many testimonials and so many results from this program that half the people weren't even there live. And there are 100 days, 180 days, 60, all the 80, 50, clean, sober, changing their life, which gave me the idea of like creating a self-led program, taking the walking away from weed program and using my gift of my ability to communicate in really direct ways, and taking everything that I teach live and making it an opportunity for someone to do it at their own pace. And so that is launching right now. And that's exciting because that's a step forward for me to be like, okay, let's try this strategy out, right? Like, do you need to be there? Do you need to do it that long? Can you do it quicker? Can you do it shorter? Can you do it in a way where someone can just do it at their own pace? And I can. I know that for a fact because of my program. I've worked with hundreds of people, and also because of the podcast, right? Like, this is the way people are used to hearing me anyways. And that's out. Like, that launches, and I'm excited for that. Like, if you are somebody that's been waiting to jump in, you're not sure that you want to do the live and you don't know if you're ready, like, get on this because this is literally the program in audio form with guides, and it's at your own pace. It's self-led, and it's the same exact program. The doors are open for the Walking Away from Weed self-led program for, I think, less than 2 weeks, so 11 days. November 11th, the doors close. And right now I'm running a early bird special, $100 off for $320 until Friday. Don't wait on this. This is a great opportunity to dive in without feeling the pressure, or maybe you feel like you're not ready. You don't need to be ready because you can do it at your own pace. And you have them forever, and that's really great because that's not something that I usually do. And if you're an old client, you're listening to this, like, jump in. Get on that as well. I am in the middle of creating some other things, for people that were past clients and people that are looking to join. And, I've had to slow down because I have to put systems in place. And I think this is really a good, it really actually is connected to even just like the walking away from weed and stuff. Like, I could not walk away from weed without having had systems in place and without really working on myself internally and feeling confident in myself and having systems so that when the terrain got rough, I could move through it. It's the same thing. It's like you build a business and you're going. It's great. Momentum, money, clients, all the things, impact. And then you reach a point you're like, fuck, I can't keep going because I got a mess to clean up. Right? Like, I got to build my email list. I got to put these systems in place. I got to take care of my nervous system. I got to make sure that I'm not just putting out content to put it out there because somebody wants me to. I don't look at myself as a problem solution person. I say that all the time. I never will. I am not. That's not who I am. And I've had a lot of resistance because I'm like, I don't want anyone to ever see me as that. Oh, she solved my one problem, I'm out. I don't need to be around her orbit anymore. That's not the vibe. And I'm also in this place where I'm really looking to work with empowered people. I realized something recently that I think was energy draining for me is like, I don't want to convince anybody to join my programs. I don't want to handle the objections. Like, listen, if you've been following me long enough and you watch my videos, you listen to my podcasts, and you've done all the free things and you're still where you're at and you're not going to take a step forward, like, that's not on me. I can't lead you to the experience. You need to be self-led. I already know that what I do works. I already know that. Like, I've literally worked with hundreds of people. I already know it. And I used to be a little more compassionate in that way. But, someone said it best the other day. My friend, who I work with, who does a lot of work with me. She does, she helps me work through some stuff and organization. She's great. What's up, Ariel? She said it best. She was like, because I said to her, like, I'm really good with like kids and animals. Like, I would do anything in the world. Like, I would hold their hand. I would do all the things, right? I was like, but I'm not so good at holding people's hands. Like, I'm really good at guiding people to grab their own hand and move. And she was like, because you don't like the idea that someone feels helpless. And it was so true. Like, I'm not the person that like goes through all the details with you. Like, that's just not who I am. I'm not the person that like attends the meetings. I'm the person who like runs the meeting. I'm the person that like gives you the advice right away that you need, direct, simple, solution-based, go. And so I'm learning these about myself, and you'll learn these about yourself too. Every time you grow and you evolve, you learn more about yourself. I also put in the work. Like I Google things. I do things to evolve. And so I am moving. So some people in my orbit aren't moving. And so it's like, you will eventually feel like you might not relate to me because I'm going to keep moving. That's my plan here. And some of the energy draining has been this, like a not an equal, like, you don't have to be where I'm at, obviously, but it's like, if you want to get there, like, you better make a move. I am not here to hold someone's hand. I'm not even good at it. I'm really a lot better at, like, let's go. Let's walk side by side. Side by side? Side by side. And I've been burnt out from that, from holding people's hands, from like handling all the, here's why you should do the program. Here's this or here's that. Ricki, I'm really struggling. Okay, great. Like I have a solution for you, but like you don't make a move. It's like, okay, I'm done. Like I care. I want everybody to change their life, but I will not be the person that pulls you to do that anymore. I'm a self-led person. And it's not that you can't have hard times or that you can't be a couple steps ahead or behind. It's not about that. It's just like, even when I am steps behind, I've always had the thought process of like, I'm fucking gonna do this. Like I feel like shit, but I'm not giving up and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna invest in that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. And it's not perfect, but I don't ever think to myself, I'm helpless. And I don't want to surround myself with that energy because it's really hard for me to manage because I'm not really good at being like, you're okay. I'm like, you're fine, let's go. I see you, I hear you, I have compassion for you, but let's keep moving. If you need to take a break, take a rest, take a stop, but like, let's keep going. So if you're listening to this, like, I love you and I appreciate you, but if you're stuck in the same place you were 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever, and you're just waiting to consume all the free resources because maybe that will help you, like, I love that you love my stuff. I really do. But come on. Like, when do you say to yourself, like, damn, okay, this is the next step for me? I mean, what's your next level? Are you functioning? Are you surviving? Do you want to live? I mean, I had to take a step back recently and be like, is this the way you want to run a business, Ricki? Or are you going to take the time and invest in somebody who can teach you how to do it better? Is this how you want to create something? I ask myself questions because when you ask yourself questions, the good questions, you get the answers you need. I am excited to keep going. I'm a little like, I'm trying to figure some shit out right now because it's not sustainable for me to run my group every month and I don't really need to. Like I want to create other experiences as well. And I'm going to, put some things together for the program and everyone's at different steps, but you have an opportunity right now to plug into something that is totally available to you. And I'm not just talking about my TikTok or my podcast. I'm talking about the program. I'm talking about you having an opportunity to lead yourself at your own pace. And I try my very best to here's a little incentive, like $100 off, this and that. But it's like, if you're still thinking about it, and it doesn't matter if you're ready or not, like we know that ready is not a thing because you can do this at your own pace. You can always come back to it. But you got to step it up, okay? Like I step it up every fucking day. And there are people I look up to and I'm like, that is what I want to be like because that person just keeps moving. They don't stop. They're like, fuck it, I'm going to keep going. This sucks, but I'm going to work through it, or I'm going to take a step back for a minute and reevaluate, like, is this where I want to be right now? So here's my question to you, because this is the question I ask myself. 3 questions. Okay, 3 questions. Number 1, are you functioning at your best? Or are you just surviving your life? Number 2, if you woke up in 3 months from now in the same exact place as the same exact person doing the same exact thing in your life, in your business, whatever it is for you, how would you feel? And number 3, if you woke up in 1 year from now and you only had taken a small step forward, and you were still smoking, you were still running a business in a way that wasn't sustainable, you were burnt out, you were in that relationship still, you were 10 pounds heavier, you were this, you were that, how would you feel? I want that to scare you a little bit, because that's the shit that scared me. I was like, fuck, that's terrifying. So terrifying, I'll do anything to not be in that position. I am here. Go join the program. You got a few more days at this price. You got 11 days till the doors close. And if that's not where you're at, there are so many other opportunities. We got the First Step seminar. That's such a great place to start. If you're taking that first step and you don't know where to start, great start. First step. We got the Without Weed Masterclass. I mean, I got options for you. But to do nothing, that feels destructive. And if you're listening to this right now and you have nothing to do with weed, I am creating things for you too. And I know that I say that a lot, but it's a process. You got to get out of your own way, and getting out of your own way takes time, okay? And you're allowed to evolve. And your business is allowed to evolve, and your relationship is allowed to evolve, and your values and your thoughts and all the things, your habits. And some people are going to come with you and some people are not. And I think that I've been really scared of that. I love being relatable, but that's not my goal in life. I'd rather be an expander. Okay, I'm going to put all the information in the bio description, I think, yeah. And this felt great. This is like the first time I was like, I want a podcast right now. It was an obligation for me, not because I don't love you guys, but because like I'm a human being. And, sometimes we just get like that. I'm glad I took last week off because coming in hot this week. Okay, I love you guys. You can reach out to me. I'll put the links in the description. And don't wait, because waiting is destructive and your life is moving whether you move or not.